जयपुर वाया कोटा
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
लखनऊ जंक्शन
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad Bhattacharjya Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो
We had our hearts in our mouths in that last over. GT is so near, yet so far not for the faint-hearted. DC prevailed in a game that saw 444 runs being scored. Oh, how close was that in that last over? Mukesh bowling that pressure over, 90 needed. Rashid Khan was in the mood. A couple of dot balls messing things up. Mohit Sharma at the other end. There was a lot of chaos, a lot of drama towards the end. Gujarat managing to reach ever so close, just 4 runs shy of Delhi's 224. Propelled by Rishabh Pant's 88, Akshar Patel 66, Sai Sudarshan, David Miller, Ridhiman Saha tried everything they could. Unfortunately, could not cross that finish line. Cricbuzz Live it is. Simon Doull and Bhattacharjya in the house. Is this even cricket, gentlemen?
Crazy good. No chases out of the realm of possibility anymore. And I think that's what we keep seeing with the extra batting option, the impact substitute options, the quality of players on show, and small boundaries, small ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what a cracking game of cricket again. I mean, absolutely magnificent.
Now, Bhattacharjya, already a silver fox since the age of 30. You grade a lot more in the last couple of years.
Absolutely. And nothing compared to the emotions that I must have gone through Rishabh Pant and Shubman Gill, because it was topsy-turvy, up, down, up, down, up, down. And I think that's the thing, that they scored 73 in the last 5. You know? So regularly the other team I think scored 77 or 78 in the last 5. So what you're having is a situation where in the last 5, you can just see the amount of runs being scored. It's a different level altogether right now.
Yeah,
they scored 97 in the last time. Yeah, they scored 97.
They were on course, Simon, at 98 for 2 in the first 10. They had it in the game, but then those 3 wickets sort of pulled them back a little bit, courtesy some pretty solid fielding as well.
Yeah, some good fielding, some good bowling. Rashid Salim, I think, did a really good job through that middle period. Having to bowl that second to last over was a tough ask on him. I thought when you've got international quality in Norkir and Khalil Ahmed as well as options, so going to him, I know he'd bowled well, but going to him was a tough ask for him. But prior to that, I think he'd done a superb job. So no knock on him. Just, you know, again, some high quality hitting. You still have to hit the ball, even if it isn't a great delivery. You've still got to hit the ball and find the boundary. And we're just seeing it game after game. It's superb. It really is.
Yeah, showed a lot of heart, did Rasik Salam. So, Joy, salam for Rasik.
Absolutely. And look, he's been around since 2018, youngest player ever to play for MI. You know, supposed to be a great prospect, then goes off the ball. I have even more respect for guys when they make it, reach there, and then they sort of fall off. He's been in KKR last year, has been drifted around, had the courage, had the ability, had the resilience to fight back, make his way back into the team. And look at the results. They've entrusted him with the ball. Even that last ball, that wicket that he got was very important because it really changed the look of the game.
Now, the batting team scoring 224 in the first innings. The chasing team comes so close. You win by 4 and you have a spinner that gives away just 29, picks up 2 wickets. Kuldeep Yadav is 24 carats gold.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And just the craft of where to bowl. I mean, he's been so good over the last couple of years, has Kuldeep. I mean, the wicket ball, the one that went wide that Rishabh took a really good catch of Rahul Tewatia. Just knowing exactly when to get close, when to try and cramp the batsman for room, when to go wide, when you think they're coming at you. All of those things that he's developed in the last couple of years, a lot more than he had prior to. He is gold. He really is. I mean, that's such a performance on a small ground, on what's turned out to be a very good batting surface. To have those figures as a spinner, especially when you got 2 world-class spinners in the opposition who got, didn't bowl anywhere near as well in Noor Ahmed and Rashid Khan. So that's a superb performance.
Yeah, well, when you have batters having to just clear small boundaries, really, they're always in the mood to clear the fence. But then when you have Kuldeep Yadav at the peak of his powers, he seems to enjoy the Delhi Capitals mahal, doesn't he?
He enjoyed the mahal. And I mean, to be honest with you, Akshar didn't have a bad outing as well.
Yep.
In a match where your average is that high, 3 overs for 28 runs and a wicket is not bad at all.
Yep.
And you add to that the fact of what he gave you at number 3.
Yep.
And I think that's the thing, that what happens in a lot of these situations is, especially with teams, is sometimes players come in late and you don't get enough of them. And I think now in the season 7th, 8th game, you're beginning to see teams, what are the lineups they're trusting.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're going to see Aksar go that far back again.
Yep.
I think, may not be a 3 every day, but I think he's going to be batting in the top 4-5 from now on.
When the second innings was on, the one thing I Googled was the distance between the Cricbuzz studio and the Firozshah Kotla. It is exactly 1,429 kilometers. There's a special connection between Cricbuzz Live and the IPL because what we say here seems to have a direct impact on what happens at the ground. I don't have a question for Simon. Just 2 words. Rishabh Pant.
Well, he's getting closer. He's getting closer. Can he bat at 3? Answer me that question. Can he bat at number 3?
He should.
I think he can.
Well, I'm asking the question because I go back to the team that I'm looking at and the starting lineup that I'm looking at. He does not fit in the middle order.
Can he bat
At the
at
World
4?
Cup, just for everyone.
for everyone.
If Surya goes at 3, can he go at 4?
Oh no, because then you've got left. You can't have 4 left-handers in a row. I don't think.
Okay, you're going Rohit. So you're saying
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Yes, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm asking the question: could Rishabh Pant bat at 3 in a T20 World Cup? If he can, he's getting a step closer to a boarding pass.
I think the point that he's making is that he comes on very well, but he needs that little bit of time to sort of settle in. And
Yeah.
if you see players at that position, players like, say if Surya plays in that position, he's off immediately or he's not wasting.
I think he's a better player than a slogger, than a hitter. And I think that's been proven today. He came out and he eased his way into his innings, right? And that's why I say he's a terrific test match player. Because I think he's a very, very fine batter. But I don't know that he's a player that comes out straight away and just slogs the ball from ball. Not in the modern day T20 cricket. That's probably why his numbers don't look anywhere near as good as they possibly should.
Yeah.
So my question is, could he bat at 3 behind the skipper and Virat?
Wouldn't want to be Ajit Agarkar, right? These days.
It's a great problem
It's
to
a
have.
great problem to have. It's
It's a great problem to have. He's edging closer.
However, having said that, whether he goes to the World Cup or not is a story for maybe a couple of weeks later. I've been told that the selector and the captain meet in Delhi in a few days from now. So we'll anyway know who's going to the World Cup or not. But Rishabh Pant is back to his absolute bludgeoning best.
Yeah, I think this is what he does well. And when he, Simon very properly explained that when he starts hitting on the offside as well, when he's keeping his shape, when he's looking that he can hit in the offside as well, not dragging everything this way, he's looking a much more complete player. Rishabh is going to move around, he's not as much as Surya, but he's also going to move around the place. He's going to lie on the ground and hit those shots. That's part of what he's all about. But there's something else there as well. There's some brilliant keeping today.
Yeah.
Two catches, one really wide and the other one inside edge, which is the toughest catch as a keeper because you've got to react and it's just right here. Inside edge of a spinner is the toughest catch to take.
The reason we got a cracking game on this Wednesday evening is because GT made a match out of it. Now, a youngster in Sai Sudarshan, a 39-year-old in Ridhiman Saha, got going straight away after Shubman Gill fell very, very early. As you can see there, 65 of 39. Then came Miller at 5. Surprisingly, I thought he'll come in at 4 and we were on Cricbuzz Combox at that stage. Was a bit surprised to see Azmatullah Omarzai coming in at 4. Should it have been Miller then?
I mean, he didn't take up any deliveries, I suppose, so we saw Miller straight away, but we were both talking about it. I thought he could have come in at 4. Tonight I thought it was a good opportunity to get him in a little bit earlier. Didn't work out in the batting order as sense, but it did work out from a wickets falling point because he only was there 2 balls anyway. So Miller had plenty of time to come in and try and finish that game off. And I mean, he did a great job. He got them to a point where they had a chance to win. And in the end, a very good catch. Composed. I know he had a little juggle. I know there was a little juggle there, but quite good composure to take that catch at that stage, under pressure, when you've probably got the one guy who you felt could take the game away from you. So I think in those situations, when we see catches like that, they are crucial.
Now, they just fell short by 4 runs. If they had won this, we may not have been talking about the middle order worries. Sai Sudarshan, he just seemed to have so much belief. 65 of 39, he knew he could make a match out of this.
No, I think definitely. Sai Sudarshan's been in absolutely fantastic form. Riddhiman Saha today gave them something that they haven't seen for a while, so those are encouraging signs for them. I think their worry is Omar Zai, because Omar Zai was their designated all-rounder who was supposed to take Hardik Pandya's place.
Yeah.
And therefore they're trying to, they used him, then they dropped him, then they realized they can't bowl Spencer Johnson and have that few, they had to lengthen their batting order. So they've gone back to Omar Zai, but that's the one that's not working for them, and I think they need to find a solution to that.
It's a bit like Padikkal at 3 last night, trying to save the day for them. Can they not trust Rahul Tewatia to play more overs, send him up the order as an experiment? Is that something that they can look at?
Is there an option for them to maybe play with 3 overseas and leave the likes of Williamson and Omar Zai in the substitutes, in the impact substitutes,
And then play
and then see which way they want to go?
There's Abhinav Manohar waiting in the
Yeah,
wings.
correct. So they can use Abhinav Manohar and maybe leave Omar Zai out, pick a side, pick a bowling side and a batting side, and then maybe use Spencer Johnson, Kane Williamson as their batter come bowler, depending on what they want to do.
So maybe they can bring in Vijay Shankar, who can bowl a bit as well, for Shah Rukh Khan. Bring Abhinav Manohar in for Omar Zai. That gives them bowling
we're
options
not even
as well.
disputing Shah Rukh at this point.
Yeah.
All he's saying is, you drop the international player in Omar Zai.
Yes.
Okay, keep that slot open, put in Abhinav Manohar right now as a placeholder.
Yeah, correct. And then start with only 3 internationals.
And then see how
Do you
you
have enough bowling options then?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Vijay Shankar might have to bowl an over. Might have to bowl 2 overs.
So you'll have to make 2
That's
changes.
fine. I mean, Shah Rukh... No, you don't. You'd have to make 2 changes because Shah Rukh can bowl a couple of overs for you.
Yeah, he bowled 1.
There's no options there. He bowled 1 tonight. There's enough options there. If Vijay Shankar or Shah Rukh can bowl an over for you, you've got enough options there. And then you can maybe just start with 3 overseas. Maybe if that's the way they want to look at it.
And if there's a batting collapse then Kane Williamson comes in.
Comes in as
If there's no batting collapse, Spencer Johnson comes in. That's
result aside, GT should take a lot of confidence from this
so
chase.
this is exactly what, if you see on a regular basis, the Rajasthan Royals do. They go in with 3 and then they decide, put in Rovman Powell on this side, put him on the other side, or just go with the bowler and Andre Berger. So they can always juggle that.
If you were the GT coach, what would you be saying? Well done, or would you look at a few creases that need to be ironed out, selection aside?
Look, I think you'd say great chase, great effort. We were out of the game. We were in the game at the start. Obviously, losing Shubman up front was always going to be tough, but I think the partnership between Riddhiman and Sai Sudarshan was superb. Miller back to what we've seen some of the best of him. I don't think I'd be going too hard at my team if I'm coaching that situation tonight, because it's a terrific effort that's just fallen short, and it's hard to be too critical of what they've done tonight.
Now, Ponting will take the 2 points. Rishabh Pant will take the 2 points. But are there issues that they need to worry about, Delhi?
See, Delhi has a lot of gaps as a team, but I think they've put together a couple of courageous performances, and I like the way they're playing now. They're playing far more positively. They're doing a lot of things that we thought we wanted them to do. Bat Akshar Patel slightly further up front. Bring in another international bowler, see what can happen. They're moving those pieces around, and I think they're getting results.
Yeah.
And I think it's important for the sake, not just of us, but the tournament, that Delhi has a good, strong run of it.
Yeah.
I think there are some things that a team that's as tactically astute as Gujarat will go back and wonder about. One is Sai Kishore in the 19th over, which was frankly inexplicable.
Yeah.
So their strategy of bowling Mohit in bunches towards the end, where if there's a set batsman, he has a great opportunity of having a really good look at him and being able to play him properly.
I think it might be time for Lazard Williams.
Jai Richardson is the other option.
Yeah, I think
Nortje?
I'd go with Lazard Williams ahead of Jai Richardson for Nortje.
Let's pull up the Delhi Capital squad just to take a look at what the options are for our experts to take a look at. Can they make changes to their bowling lineup? If we can have the Delhi Capital squad very quickly up there. There you are.
So for me, Lazard Williams would be the most direct replacement for Anrik Nortje. He's had a tough time of it. He's going about the park. Miller got onto him tonight. It's just not quite happening. Remember, was it 2-3 years ago, he was just bowling those Yorkers for fun at the back end of the innings, and 149, 150k Yorkers that nobody could get a hold of. He's not doing that now. He's bowling full tosses and half volleys. He might just need a rest for a game or two. I'm not saying for the season, but maybe just that might be a change to look at, Lazard Williams in for him.
What's up with Nortje?
Look, you're a fast bowler. The other thing is that, one is accuracy. The other is, lose a couple of kilometers of pace. The batters also have seen you for 2-3 years. So there's also that. Don't forget the fact that today even from 4 years back to now, the number of bowlers bowling at that 145, 150 mark, they're a lot more. So I think the game has also cranked up one notch. And I think at this point in time, he's not at its best. So the combination of those two is just pushing him down, I think.
His economy at the death this IPL is 21 plus.
Yeah.
Should they look at a different role for him?
I don't know. I mean, if you're picking an overseas player, you want him to do a job for you. You've probably got to bowl an over or two in the power play if he's a genuine swing bowler, opening bowler, which you don't normally see Nortje doing that role. He's picked a bowl to be their enforcer.
Yep.
A couple through the middle and a couple at the back end. And so he's not doing that role.
Yeah.
And he's not quite getting that role right. So, and sometimes it can play on your mind. It's not an easy thing to do, but maybe he just needs a game or two off, just to freshen up a bit.
Delhi now at 8 points. This was their fourth win. Now they play the Mumbai Indians next in Delhi. What are MI thinking?
Ooh. MI is thinking this is a virtual knockout because both these teams need that win.
Yeah.
And if MI go 3-6, it's going to be really difficult on them. Delhi go 5-4, and they will be looking really good. Big matches for them, I think. Kolkata and Kolkata is a tough one. Rajasthan in Delhi is a really tough one. I mean, they're the table toppers. So they have to look at this and say, we've got to win against Mumbai, because if they win against Mumbai, they go 5-4. Then even if they drop to 5-6, they hope to win three more in a row. They win 3 more in a row, they might go through.
An outside chance for Delhi, maybe?
If they continue to play that way, possibly. Yeah, I still think they've got a couple of holes in their bowling, which they have to. Teams like Hyderabad and Jaipur, Rajasthan, they can, and even Mumbai, they can really take advantage of poor bowling.
Can wins like this change things in the camp?
Yeah, absolutely. They can boost you no end when you win a game like that, because you felt like they were probably ahead of the game slightly at the power play, just ahead at the power play, and then they pulled things back nicely. You thought through that 8, 9, 10 to 13, 14 over mark, you kind of felt that Delhi had the game in their hands.
Yeah, Gujarat Titans meanwhile have played 9, 4 wins, 5 losses. However, they play the beatable Royal Challengers Bangalore at home on Sunday. Ooh.
Yeah, they have a back-to-back against Bangalore, which is interesting.
Home and away.
Yep, and lots of gaps, so a lot of time. If you see their fixtures, they're quite spread out from here on. And that's interesting for them. And then, therefore, if they win those two, then Chennai will be interesting.
A lot can happen on that points table.
Yeah, look, there's a huge amount still to go. And I know we've looked at it in the last week and thought, well, Rajasthan are running away with it, and we can probably see 2 or 3 of the top 4 teams already. But this tournament, it always comes down to that last week for some silly reason, because all of these teams are so good and so capable. I mean, even Bengaluru, they are capable. We know what they have in their side. We know what they have in their camp. They are capable. So they can upset any one of those teams on that points table. It's just a matter of getting it right on the day. So there's there's a lot of water under the bridge yet before we find out who's going through and who's maybe getting those sort of. I think you're probably looking at 3rd and 4th spots, because I can't see Rajasthan not qualifying now.
Yeah.
And either Kolkata or Hyderabad are going to get through, I would say, because of the strength of their side. So you're probably looking at places 3 and 4 now.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I'll go even further and say that I feel Kolkata and Hyderabad both will end up in the top 3, leaving that 4th spot will be the real logjam. And the point is, normally you would say that the 7 teams have the advantage with the 8 points. But given the strength that Mumbai has, they are still capable of making a run from it from that position.
Possibly one last push, maybe one more of those come back from behind kind of qualification stories for the Mumbai Indians. Now, a game that saw 444 runs being scored. GT came ever so close. We had a lot of fun moments that were very cool moments. Time now to talk to our experts about the Carrier Room Air Conditioner's coolest moment of the match. Rishabh Pant. Has to be Rishabh Pant.
For me, I've thought long and hard about this, and then I looked at the score and I looked at the result. And the result was 4 runs. What saved 4 runs? Tristan Stubbs.
That catch. The feeling effort towards the end.
save on the boundary of Rashid at long off, to me, won them the match.
It's amazing how
That is
one moment can make a difference.
That is my coolest moment of the match. I almost went for the catch to dismiss Miller, and then I thought, you know what, 4 runs was the difference, and they only ran 1.
Yeah.
Remember that. They had the chance to run 2 and get Rashid back on strike, but he thought it had gone for 6. Yeah. Brilliance from Tristan Stubbs on the boundary. Saved 5 runs, and they won by 4. That, to me, is our coolest moment of the match.
Good spot, Simon. Good spot. Joy.
I'd chosen that. That was mine.
Sorry, Joy.
No, that was mine as well. I just said that was mine as well. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And the point was how quickly he released the ball. The important point was that he'd got the ball in his hand. He had to release the moment because his foot is going to touch the ropes.
Yeah.
So he just managed in a nick of time. That fraction of a second was the match.
It's very often it's that one moment that gets missed out, sort of slips under the radar a little bit, but that was a real key moment in this match that helped his team win this one. However, there's a big Indian bias in the tweets we've received for entries for the Carrier Room Air Conditioner's coolest moment of the match. Our viewers sent in their entries. What have they picked? Aryan reckons it was the innings of Rishabh Pant. Felt like he truly returned to his best self. Yes, that was an innings worth remembering. Rishabh Pant pressing that reset button on his form. We've got a couple of more. Let's keep them going. What's the next entry? Jayant Iswani reckons it was Prithvi Shaw's glorious cover drive on the first ball of the match. That seemed like it happened ages ago. Reminding everyone of the legend Sachin Tendulkar on his birthday, swashing his bat like a toothpick. Rishabh Pant gave his team a great start, didn't he? Let's take a look at the final one. And then we get Sadinu Kavsika Fonseca. I love that surname. Aksar Patel. And he reckons, I know the CB experts on the couch today wanted this to happen a long, long time ago, gentlemen.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Delighted it happened, finally.
Lots of big positives. Rishabh Pant, Aksar Patel, Rasik Salam, an unlikely star, an inspired selection, that one impacts up. Lots of things happen today. So much happens in a 40-over game.
Yeah, and good moments as well. And you like, David Miller bouncing back to form as well. So Sudarshan with a fine innings. Rudiman Saha getting his team off to a start, which we've talked about has not happened. That's been the one of the things that's been missing from GT. And then you look at the performance of Rishabh. I mean, it was superb, absolutely brilliant. Not only with the bat, but behind the stumps. Maybe that fitness and that sort of. I mean, when you haven't played for such a long time, wicket keeping is the toughest art.
Yeah.
It is the toughest art. So for him to be maybe getting back to some of that wicket-keeping fitness, finding that form with the bat, holding his shape, as I've talked about, that was superb. Akshar was brilliant. There was a lot of very, very nice moments tonight.
Ponting loves Rishabh Pant. He believes in the man, wants him to go to the World Cup, face 43 deliveries today. He will heave a huge sigh of relief, Ponting, for Rishabh.
No, not just for Rishabh, for his team. I think this was an important match because there was... Where was the match set up? The match was set up by Rishabh Pant in that complete onslaught in the last 5 overs, where they got 97 runs. And they'd be just delighted that they managed to keep them within this space. And I think it is an important win for them because it's kept them in touch with the leaders.
Yep.
Moment you're still at 6, you're out of touch with the leaders. I think he's kept them in touch with the leaders, and that's important.
Yes, while you stay tuned to the action, make sure you keep sending in your entries for what you reckon is the Carrier Room Air Conditioner's coolest moment of the match. This one surely belonged to a lot of Indian names that were on song today. Now, the action moves to a game between SRH and RCB, the best batting lineup in the IPL this year versus the poorest looking bowling lineup. Bengaluru are in dire straits. They find themselves at number 10. They won just the one game. They lost everything else. And everything from here on in is a knockout game for them, Simon. Nothing to lose. Might just help them.
Yeah, and we talked about this the other day. Do they now start to look forward to 2025 RCB and what can we do? Who are we leaving out? What are we looking maybe from an auction or a trade point of view? Can we free up some money? Can we strengthen our bowling attack? Do we get Will Jacks to the top of the order? That's what I would like to see. I'd like to see Faf bat at 3 because I think Will Jacks is the future at the top of the order with Virat, if that's the way they're going to go. He's a genuine opening batter. And I think Faf, because of his experience, can bat at 3. in this format of the game. If he's going to continue to stay there, and if he's going to continue for another year. So that would be one thing I would certainly look at from a Bengaluru point of view. Their overseas quicks just haven't done the job for them. Right back to when they started with Alzari Joseph. Topley was okay, I thought, decent. Lockie Ferguson hasn't worked for them at all. So they've got to find a combination that works with the ball for them.
These are two teams who have an economy of more than 10. Hyderabad score a ton of runs, but they also concede a lot of runs. Bengaluru, we spoke about their bowling. Any changes for you?
Topley again for Ferguson, definitely.
For the angle?
For the angle, and I think he just gives them a bit more in terms of variations because you can use him up front. I mean, really, Lockie is the kind of bowler that you would like to use as an enforcer, just like they use Nokia. So I think definitely Topley for me, because I think the international bowler needs to do more up front. Because if you don't get wickets up front against a team like SRH, you're in real trouble. So you've got to go wicket taking. You can't think of containing. I wouldn't actually mind seeing Akashdeep as well, because Akashdeep swings the ball away, and up front, if there's a little bit of an issue that Abhishek has, he can nick it off early.
SRH have played 7, they've won 5, they won their last 4. Would you say let's take care of qualification first and then experiment, or against a low on confidence RCB, would you like to maybe mix things up a little bit?
Oh, just keep playing the same way you're playing. Don't change a winning combination. Don't change what you're doing. They're playing a brand of cricket that is just so exciting to watch. It starts right at the top with Travis Head, obviously, with Abhishek, with Klaas and Markram. It's just such a powerful looking lineup, and I've been really impressed with Pat Cummins. Been super impressed with the way he's captained. His bowling has been predominantly very, very good, and they just seem to have the right combination between sort of captain, coach, and the players on the field.
SRH are a different beast when they bat first. If they win the toss, should they look to maybe test themselves and say, listen, let's try and chase this time?
I completely agree with him. You don't test yourself. These are things that you don't practice matches and trial matches. You don't test when the IPL is on. What? You lose one match, you lose momentum, everything could change. You never mess with these things. The second thing is, I think they've just got their bowlers back also having confidence. Because, see, confidence from a bowler they don't look and say 10 and over, or they've really given 10 and over, 11 and over, and 8 and over. They've said, have we managed to restrict the other team or not? And if they've managed to do that, because even that other team is desperate enough, they're going to hit. If you're going to score 250, you're going to get, your bowlers are going to get hit. It's going to happen. But I think the way they've worked on the confidence, Natarajan is having an outstanding season. And, he was really good early in 2021. And then he fell off a bit in the last couple of years. He was injured. Natarajan is looking much better again. I see the Yorkers far more regularly now. And I think all those, the improvement that you're seeing is just the halo of what Vettery and Cummins are doing with this team. Everyone's looking better.
SRH have a chance to go up to 12 points, which will bring them to number 2 above KKR, just under the Rajasthan Royals. And Bengaluru have a chance to go level on points with the Punjab Kings, who are at number 9. Now, before we wrap up, gentlemen, very quickly, players to watch out for.
I'll stick with Will Jacks at the top. I think he's certainly got a lot to offer. I'd love to see him opening the batting. If they do that, I think they'll find for the last 4, 5, 6 games, they'll have some success with him, and he could be a player that they look to retain come next year.
I'm going to go with Kohli. I think he needs to will them to a win almost. He needs to do enough to not leave it for anyone else to just finish the game himself. Because I think he's played well this series, his tournament, but he's not managed to take them over the line like he would want to, because he's the great chase master after all.
I sort of identify with what's happening to RCB, because the same thing's happening to me on this guessing game leaderboard. Look at where I am. I've been poor. Just nothing's working for me. Take a look at that. I'm above 2 test cricketers, but they haven't participated, so that doesn't really count. Mr. Bhattacharjya, where are you, sir? Oh, you are just... Simon's just above you.
I'm nipping at Simon's
heels. He is. You got one right today, so... Well, it was 1 run difference, wasn't it? I needed 1 run.
It's 67 and 68.
67 and 68.
Look at the swagger on GK's face.
Yeah.
The sneer becomes more pronounced every time I see it.
But well, if GK has those numbers to show off, Joy has a lot of these scary quiz questions to get back at him with. What was it today, Joy, and what's the answer?
Yeah, it was just one of those fun ones. It's phrased in a particular way. I'm sure they would have seen through it. Once Ishant and Bumrah both took 5 wickets all in the same test, but neither won the Player of the Match award. Who was the venue named after? Well, the only match in which that happened was a match in Antigua, where India was playing the West Indies, and that Rahane was the man of the match, and of course Viv Richards legendary Viv Richards was the man whom up.
What do you make of the look on his face in this graphic?
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's the newish stadium too in Antigua. They used to play at the old rec ground, which was right downtown.
Correct.
And they used to just stream into that ground. You know, every time there was a West Indies Test match on, it was right in the centre of town. The only unfortunate thing about the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium is it's out of town. It's quite a way to get to for those who used to just rock up to the rec, but sadly the rec was kind of falling down. But it was one of those iconic venues in the Caribbean in Antigua.
Now, the winner of today's Joy Factor does not get to go to the West Indies. Okay, but you will get a thumbs up from Joy and from Simon. Let's bring up the winner's name very quickly. On this Wednesday evening. Has to be a Bengali. These Bengalis are everywhere, sir. What is happening, sir?
That is not my fault. You can. There are many reasons for that, but I'm not going to go into them.
It's been fun, a fun game between DC and GT. Our experts doing better than they have in the past on that guessing game leaderboard as well. So it's almost midnight. Go to sleep, children. Aunts and uncles and elders and everyone else, go to sleep. Got work, school and college tomorrow. So have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow at 7. Bye-bye.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। Cricbuzz